Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the second nine CASTPOD, as we're calling it now. But this is our first live stream. It's actually our fifth episode. Sorry, I'm tripping over your mouse cord. But we're back after a little bit of a hiatus, and we're gonna talk a little bit about the draft, what went on, things that stood out to us: Giants, Cowboys, Jets, and then we're each gonna pick a couple players that we think could make an impact in the NFL based on what they've done in college and their skill set. And then we'll go in a little bit to some Odell, Le'Veon tweets that have raised some eyebrows a little bit over the past like a week or so. So let's get into it. We'll start with the Giants first. So the Giants, pretty controversial. Daniel Jones as his number 6 pick. I was upset about it. And that's me honestly not knowing that much about Daniel Jones, not having seen that much about him, but just from all the rumors of him probably being able to be taken at the 17th pick versus the 6th pick and them reaching that much. It's kind of frustrating from the Giants fan standpoint, where you have Gettleman, who seems and acts like such a know-it-all that he knows everything that's going on. And apparently after the draft, it comes out that nobody in NFL was looking to target him above or below that 17th pick. The one rumor I had heard was maybe Denver was looking at him, but even Denver came out after, and Denver had the 10th pick. They came out after, and Elway said and just completely shot that down. Like, we weren't looking at Daniel Jones at all. But having that said, I'm not necessarily happy with the pick at that spot. I think that we still have to see what happens with the kid. We were just watching some highlights on him. As you said, he floats the ball a little bit too much when he throws, and there's not much you can really evaluate from like the competition standpoint, because played for Duke, played in the ACC, not necessarily a powerhouse of they're in ACC, right? Yeah. For football, yeah. I mean, there's pretty much just Clemson in that, Florida State. But there's, I think, a little bit to be desired with what Gettleman's done so far in the draft. We were comparing before Daniel Jones versus Dwayne Haskins. The Giants could have taken Haskins. Going into the draft, I watched some tape on Haskins. I wasn't a big fan of him either. I think he had a lot of talent around him, and he missed a lot of throws. Wasn't necessarily that accurate. He puts up numbers, but I wasn't necessarily impressed with either of them.
I thought he slings it a little bit better than Daniel Jones, though, honestly. Yeah. Especially what we were watching right now, when we were going through it, I thought he threw it a little bit better. He had a little more zing on the ball. But, like you said, he has better receivers, better team all around him, too.
At least, I mean, putting zip on the ball is one thing, but doing it accurately is another thing. Because I'm assuming Daniel Jones can put some mustard on some of his throws, but I guess he just chooses not to, just because you look at like the highlights. A lot of these games, a lot of these kids are running wide open, the wide receivers. So it's a completely different ball game when you get to the NFL, and it's gonna definitely be an adjustment period. I think they're gonna re-sign Eli for another year at least. I think
he's got Daniel Jones. I think he has to play pretty good though to get.
Yeah, I mean, Eli and the team have to be playing, I think, terrible for Daniel Jones to play this year. I think ideally it would be nice if Eli played out the year. If they could play reasonably well and compete this year, he can just sit back, watch, and learn.
Maybe he gets a start late in the year when like you're eliminated already.
Well, I've already heard like ESPN. They've talked about them going online or them basically going at and looking at the schedule, and they're like, all right, these are the potential spots where he could start. Like, if their record is this by then, they were running through the schedule. The Giants' record is going to be this bad already at this point, then he could start.
Who was doing this?
I think it was ESPN.
Oh, okay. They were doing it. I was going to say, you thought Gettleman. So I was going to say they had some of the weirdest quotes coming out of the Giants. Some of the weirdest. The Giants have never had these kind of problems, and it's just really weird to hear all this controversy around them. Well, and I love it. I just want to let you know, I do enjoy it.
Yeah, I don't like it as much. I think Gettleman is, like I said, he acts a little bit like a know-it-all, and he wants to act like he has like complete control of the whole situation. But I mean, to this point, it doesn't look like he has, because he's made questionable decisions. I mean, he's let guys go. The whole situation with Landon Collins, that was a complete botch on his part in the organization. But you want to like the decisions that he makes. It makes you think, though, how much is ownership like in his ear and really trying to maybe manipulate or control the situation.
Quarterback decisions, I know the owner's definitely involved in. There's no way you're drafting a top quarterback, top 6 or top 2 like they were last year, and the not getting the sign off from the owner. It's really, I can't see it.
Yeah,
but I mean, the biggest mistake to me was not. I know you're gonna it's like competitive at this point. But not taking Darnold the year before, that would have been probably the better option. I mean, who even Haskins was an option, even Rosen was the option. What do you think as far as those three? How would you rank them? I mean, in quarterbacks that you'd want for your future: Rosen, Daniels, and Haskins.
I've watched tape on the two guys. We've seen a little bit of Rosen this year or last season in the NFL. I mean, I think Rosen
might be the best one.
Well, I think it's clear cut that he's better than both of them. And people say I'm biased because I have talked up Rosen a lot, and I still do think the jury's obviously out on him. I think he still has potential.
He's in a shit position.
He's in another crap situation again. It's going to be better, I think, than the Cardinals because the Cardinals offensively, I think you couldn't really be in a worse.
But they could have taken, a Joey Bosa type. I mean, they could have gotten a different player than Kyle Murray and Nick Bosa. And instead they went with Kyle Murray. But I don't know. I think either one. One thing I was going to say too about the Giants pick. I remember back a couple of years when Travis Frederick was picked 31st overall. They traded back from 19. They could have had Eric Reed. They traded back. Yeah. Everybody criticized that move. Oh, he's a 4th round player. He's a 5th round player. He's an all-pro center. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because the pick is not popular doesn't mean it's not going to work out. That being said, I'm happy. I'm happy they went with that.
Offensive linemen are never a popular pick, so there will always be people hollering and complaining about those picks. But even the year, you look
make
back,
a difference though.
You look back at the year that Odell got drafted and the Giants took him. At that point, I still remember they were working out and I think seriously considering Odell they brought in and Zach Martin. And I mean, I would have been happy with either pick.
You'd have Zach Martin on your roster still today.
That's exactly my point. So, maybe it's not like a sexy pick. Odell turned into like a superstar stud wide receiver, but at the end of the day,
still
the problems that he caused.
You still have to take Odell in that situation, though.
Yeah, no, I mean
you have to because you could find guards. You know what I'm saying? You could find the 30th pick can be a really, really good starting guard in the league. But you're never going to find Odell with the 30th pick.
With the Giants' track record, though, they can't, and they're not finding those offensive linemen that are going to be like a staple in the offensive line.
I mean, they missed on Flowers, but I mean,
Pugh's gone too.
Yeah, he's gone, but he was good.
He was not that good.
He was a better guard.
About this before.
He was a better guard than he was.
I thought he was average at best. I mean, when you look at Zach Martin's situation, though, he was a Pro Bowl talent. He was a Pro Bowler though, also as a rookie. So I mean, I think the talent was.
But he also had more talent around him too. Like when you have great linemen around you, you look a lot better.
Yeah, no, I agree. I completely agree with that.
Odell's a once in a generational type player, though.
Yeah, no, I was fine with that pick. Either guy I would have been happy with, but it's just funny how those things work out because you think after the year one, Odell is he's the no-brainer win of those two players in terms of the draft. But look how it's worked out for the teams. Yeah. Dallas got as far as they did in the playoffs last year. The Giants are terrible and they don't have them anymore. So that's just food for thought.
With all that though, what I was telling this to Dutchman and as well as you. I mean, you kind of questioned me a little bit on it, but I think the Giants are actually a better team. I know it's hard to quantify because you lost Odell, but they have more starters across the board, better starters than I expected them to have across the board. Now they still don't have depth worth a damn. They have their backups are still pretty bad.
Yeah,
they have a good amount of corners. Honestly, I think they could actually even cut Janoris Jenkins because I think they have 3 pretty good young corners, and if everyone stays healthy, they should be okay. They have a lot more talent than I thought they did, and we'll get into maybe over-unders later on in the show.
It's also tough though, even if that's pretty
low. I mean, I think they can hit 6. The Giants' number is 5.5 wins over/under on FanDuel.
Yeah, which is,
and I think they can win 6 now, 7 games.
That's pretty. I mean, that's a pretty tempting number to bet the over on because you got to be pretty we agree they're not going to be good, but are they going to be that horrendous that they're going to win 4 or 5 games? That's tough to say. I mean, honestly, I almost want to take that bet right now because I feel like those odds are going to change as we get closer to the season.
I was thinking about it the other day and that exact question, and I think it all really comes back to Eli. If Eli is pretty good, the Giants will be able to hit that number, get past that number. But if Eli's bad, or if they have a lot of injuries, if they sustain a lot of injuries, they're screwed because they really don't have a lot of depth to their roster. So.
Really? All right, we got since we're on a live chat, we actually have we're on a live stream. We have a live chat. We got someone asking a question. Did you guys see what Odell wore to the Met Gala?
You see what that is?
Yeah. I have you seen it? I didn't see it.
I'll pull it up for you. Yeah, I did see it. Odell the Met Gala.
That's interesting.
He had a cut off Ricky Vaughn.
Ridiculous. But as you're looking that up, just to go back to the Daniel Jones pick, I don't. Oh my god! It was like almost like a
Ricky Vaughn,
Rob Van Dam
situation. You remember Rick Vaughn from Major League? You ever see that movie?
I don't remember that.
Oh my god, you're young.
It's been so long.
You're young. That's what it is.
That looks kind of ridiculous. Yeah, it's like a sleeveless blazer.
Dan, you're our one viewer. Thanks.
We usually get into that situation about like a player's looks and stuff. Usually, Dutchman will bring that up.
It's always a topic of conversation.
But yeah, the Giants draft, and another thing that I was complaining about was, they took what's his name for the 17th pick,
Dexter Lawrence,
the DN from Clemson, who he's got talent. I'll admit, but
he's big. He can move.
We were talking about it before. One of the guys that I really was, I would say, coveting and really wanted the Giants to take was Christian Wilkins, who's also a Clemson player. He was a defensive tackle. I mean, this kid explodes off the line. He can do the job for the Giants. He's got crazy athleticism for a big guy, and Miami took him on the 13th pick. And I thought personally that was a steal because the kid, he's got Pro Bowler written all over him.
What do you think about Josh Allen? Josh Allen, Ed Oliver, Devin Bush, any of these guys over Daniel Jones? And maybe you could trade up from 17 if you can't get him at 17?
Yeah, I mean,
Daniel Jones.
I think if Gettleman had a better handle on the pulse or finger on the pulse of what was going on, he could have easily taken another one of these guys because I thought that they were going to take Josh Allen.
I feel like he's old and the league is being run by younger guys that are more up to technology and stuff. I feel like he's just such an old school guy. Even the corner he took, I was reading a little bit about him, and he's very much a trust the tape kind of prospect. He's if you watch the tape, he's a great prospect, but there were some other issues, but
I was just about to say we got our first troll in the chat. It's coincidentally a Cowboy fan saying Daniel Jones is a bum. What were the Giants thinking? Well, we'll see. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Dak Prescott, who also is you'll probably find in the dictionary under the bum definition. So we could get into that. He's the amount of money that they're paying.
He's definitely not good, not great. Sure.
Well,
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll give him a little bit more time, but. To go back to your point before, I thought Rosen out of those three, if you compare the options that the Giants could have had, I thought for a second round pick, for a second round pick, they could have got Rosen. I thought that would have been a no brainer. I'm not sure why they didn't want to take that opportunity, and I think it was just because Gettleman, they didn't like him that last year enough at least to take him and make a move for him, or maybe trade down or something. I heard something to get him.
I heard a lot of talking about the fit in New York. And wanted to make sure the personality was right. And we were talking about Rosen all last year about he seems like kind of a dick. Even though you saw that video he put, it was pretty nice.
But wasn't Aaron Rodgers kind of like that when he was coming out too?
But Aaron Rodgers a little bit.
Okay.
I know. There's no doubt about it. He's got Aaron Rodgers.
And Aaron Rodgers got taken 24th overall, and Alex Smith got taken 1st overall. I'm right. I'm just saying. I'm not saying Rosen. I'm not saying he's him, but. Right, I saw something in Rosen. I told you when I saw UCLA.
You think Rodgers would be good in New York with his attitude? You think he'd play well in New York?
He's too good. He's got too much talent. He'll be good anywhere.
He's so good. He would be.
I've never seen someone throw the ball like he does.
People say unrelated question. I have an unrelated question for you. Are you still? Do you regret your fantasies, your pipe dreaming about Russell Wilson coming to the Giants? Do you regret?
I don't regret anything. I said that I didn't think that it was going to happen.
I kept telling you it wasn't going to happen. No, you were railing on it like it was going to happen.
No, I wasn't.
Oh my God, you were so ready for it.
Exaggerator.
I'm going to go back in my text.
You and Dutchman just piling on today.
I'm gonna go into the comment section of this video and I'm going to put
bring back the text that we were doing.
I just got a new phone, but I'll pull it up.
Yeah. I'll
have the old one. I have the old phone.
I have the text.
You do. I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
No, you don't have that Ryan text though, do you?
Yeah. Let's not get that. Let's not get into that conversation. Yeah, but well, who else? Let's dive into the Jets. Let's take it away. You did a little bit more scouting on Quentin Williams.
My brother-in-law's a big Jets fan. I was talking to him a lot about the Jets options at what are they, 2? They were 2, right?
The one that likes to see my failures.
I mean, who doesn't like?
Yeah, all right,
when you talk the way you do, everyone's gonna know. I liked Quentin Williams the best. He wanted Josh Allen. I mean, I don't blame the Jets. Have needed a outside linebacker since the day I've met this kid. I mean, for over 10, 12, 15 years, they've needed an outside linebacker really bad. But Quentin Williams is a stud. He really is. He's quick. He's strong. He's got violent hands. I really like him a lot. and he could be the best prospect.
He's another athlete for D tackle.
He's big. He's so strong. He's so
I mean,
big.
seeing him like in the college football playoff,
He reminds
you can tell he's a different like.
He reminds me of Donald, but not as fast in closing. You know, he doesn't close on the quarterback as fast. He's a little more lumbery, but he's got that kind of quickness, and like his swim moves are just so quick and dirty. Like he's really looks really nice.
Yeah.
The other guy they got not pass rusher, Polite. He was kind of from Florida. He was kind of like a risk reward kind of like character guy, but he got a lot of talent too. He could play outside linebacker, so I'll probably do that for them. And the only other thing was really going to talk about, I put trade down options. Like, you know, I heard a lot of talk about the Jets wanted to get a bounty to trade down, but it obviously didn't materialize. No one wanted to go up and get those quarterbacks, apparently, which is why the Giants shouldn't have taken one at 6.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with that. Obviously, you see, I'm like at a loss for words still from it because I was shocked when it happened. I couldn't believe that they did it.
What do you think about
Devin White? Yeah, he's another good player. I mean, we're completely like jumping over Nick Bosa too. Nick Bosa is going to be an animal.
Yeah, he's going to be good, but it wasn't like he was an option for the Giants or Jets though.
Oh yeah, no, I know that. I'm just saying, like from the evaluating like that list there,
he's dirty.
He's probably the top guy. I mean, he was drafted like it.
He deleted all his pro-Trump tweets. You saw that?
Did he?
Because he was going to.
All right, I'm not getting baited into the.
I'm just saying. I'm not trying to bait you. I'm just saying he did. He had a bunch of political tweets about Trump, like pro-Trump tweets and anti-Kaepernick tweets and stuff. And he went to San Fran, so he had to. He went back and he deleted all of them. And you know, San Francisco is
it's very liberal city. That's funny.
It's just an interesting fit.
What about any?
I thought the Bills had a good draft too. They got
Ed
Oliver. Didn't they have another first round pick as well? No, they did not. Let's see what they got in the second round. They got someone else really good too. I remember they had a really nice.
Yeah, I mean, but all those guys we mentioned,
Cody Ford has good guard.
All those guys we mentioned were probably the most highly touted, I guess, defensive players in the draft, which I think all of them are going to make an immediate impact. All these guys, including Josh Allen. I mean, Josh Allen's going to a pretty good situation with the Jaguars, who might be losing Ramsey. But I don't think they'll really skip a beat. I think they'll be better next year, even with Foles. Not saying that Foles is like that good of a
Ramsey. What's wrong with him?
Yeah, he's just he's like a diva wide receiver. It's like the same deal.
He's got such an attitude. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I mean, he's just like way too cocky. I think that's his biggest downfall. That he's gonna rub players the wrong way, even guys on his own team. So yeah, no, I completely agree with the Quinnen Williams pick. I thought that seemed like a no-brainer at that spot. But they did have like 2 or 3 guys that it would have been like you can't really argue that they picked them. Like there were a lot of good options. There's a lot of good defensive talent in this past draft.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to Cowboys.
So there's not much to say about the Cowboys to me. They did.
There's always stuff.
They did some safer stuff. I feel like they upgraded with 2 decent players. They got Tristan Hill out of UCF. We were
just watching. I liked what I saw on the tape.
Yeah,
the kid can move.
He's big and he can move. Yeah. He's going to be a decent rotational defensive tackle for them.
I think he could be a starter eventually. I mean, his closing speed was pretty good, at least from the
Malik Collins is a free agent this year, so he'll probably be the starter in the future. Yeah, so I agree. I think it's a solid pick. And then I like the Connor McGovern pick a lot too. They actually had on the Cowboys website this Inside the War Room, when they got a phone call to trade down from that pick. And then they decided to pull the trigger on Connor McGovern. He's a big Penn State guard, just kind of another beast to add to our line. I was having a conversation on Twitter with this guy going back and forth, and it was like someone asking if they would trade a certain safety from the Raiders for our right tackle, Lyle Collins.
Oh, okay.
And I was basically saying, I didn't even care about it. It was Carl Joseph from the Raiders, the safety from the Raiders. And he's all right. I mean, I don't think he's a huge upgrade over what we have as a strong safety, but, you know, I don't mind getting rid of our starting right tackle because we save almost $8 million in cap space. I wouldn't mind using that money for Dak's contract, for Byron Jones' contract, for, you know, Amari and Zeke's all coming up. So we're gonna have to spend big money. So I wouldn't mind getting rid of him because we have our right guard, our left guard we drafted last year. It's projected he could also play tackle, so they were thinking about moving him to right tackle, and then starting McGovern at guard. So, and then we still have really good backups. McGovern. Yeah.
You're thinking so much about political stuff. You're calling him the governor.
Yeah. No, but they actually call Zach Martin the president. So they were saying, the Cowboys fans were saying that they got the McGovernor and the president.
Cowboy fans are so corny. It's unbelievable.
It was actually not even the Cowboy fans. It was some girl that works at the Cowboys site. But, you know.
All right, she's a Cowboy fan.
Yeah, she is definitely a Cowboy fan, actually. But I wouldn't mind doing that just to save the money as well. And the guy was arguing with me, and I was like, I'm just happy that we have so much depth at the offensive line that we can actually have a conversation about trading your starting right tackle because we have 9 viable starters, on our offensive line.
It'd be nice if the Giants had that problem.
Giants have 4.
Giants have a lot of other problems.
Giants have 4 solid offensive linemen now. The right tackle is the only real hole.
I've been hearing you say though, I think their offensive line is going to be better than people think.
Kevin Zeichler,
they got. Well, yeah, no, I know.
Best guards in the league.
But I've been hearing this from you for the past 2-3 years.
They weren't that bad last year. They weren't as bad as everyone makes them out to be. The year before, they were absolutely terrible.
Below average.
They still went into the year.
They went from
you went in the year with Flowers as your left tackle still. Why would they not at least move him? At least do something. Move him to guard. Move him to right tackle. Do something different. It was the same bullshit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That
was the first one.
Yeah. Well, we can't take it down now because it's already we're live streaming.
I mean, all our other ones have plenty of curses. I'm sure we'll be fine.
We're usually pretty good.
Oh, we got another.
Well, explain this. We got more questions coming in.
Who busted himself under Steezy?
I'm assuming that's Odell. If Dak gets $30 million, that will be a huge mistake. Well, didn't he already get it?
Here's the problem, Jordan. The problem is Russell Wilson just got $35 million, which upped next year's franchise number for Dak to $30 million. And then if we want to franchise him again after that, it'll be $33 million. Now, if you want to say, let's not commit to him and let's hit him with those 2 franchise tags and see what he does. But at that point, the average quarterback salary is going to be almost $40 million. So you might as well lock him up now for 30. He's not worth 30, but it's his turn and he's going to get 30.
I'm happy with it because
the good news is he's under contract this year for $2.5 million. And they can average that in. They can extend him for 4 years, $120 million, $30 million a year, and average it all out. It'll come to $25 million a year, so it won't be as bad. Kind of what they did with Gurley's contract. Gurley got a $16 million a year extension, but he's only getting 12, 13, 14 million a year or something like that because he had that 1 year left on his contract that they averaged it into it. So
yeah, you guys are in such a tough situation because I think just as an organization, you guys have committed so much towards Dak. You got Jerry Jones backing him so much, and to draft another quarterback is not an option because that's just crapping in the face of Dak and just saying we're going to move on from you.
I told you before, I would.
The other scenario is you got to pay him. So it's it's a catch-22.
It's
not a good situation to be in. I'm glad that you guys are going to be in that situation because I think in a few years you're going to be paying a quarterback $30 million who's not going to be any good.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, when that day is where we're paying Dak $30 million, Daniel Jones' contract's going to start coming to an end, and he's going to be up. And you're going to, you know what I'm saying? There's other factors in it too. And I agree with you. It's not ideal to be paying a quarterback $30 million, but you could look at any one team having a $10, $12 million receiver that just doesn't belong getting $10, $12 million. I mean, that's what's the difference between having a $12 million player that's doing nothing for you, goes on injured reserve, gets hurt, or a quarterback that get $30 million? I get what you're saying, but if you draft well and you pay the right people and get value other places, you can make it work. I mean, but again, I'm not saying it's ideal, but what are you going to do? You have no choice.
Yeah, I mean, they're like I said, they're in that situation that they can't really do anything else because there's no backup plan.
So Dan is saying Quentin Williams blessed himself. Yeah, he was on TV. He was on TV. He sneezed. He said, "Bless me." And Jordan's saying he believes Dak reached his peak. Do you think he can improve? I think he can improve. I think he's improved every year. I think Dak's a solid player. I'm hard on Dak. I'm
I think he's I'm
hard on Dak. But his numbers are solid.
From an unbiased.
You're nothing but biased.
No, but I mean, I'm not biased against him. I think he's a limited guy. I think he will continue to gradually get better because I think he's that hard of a worker, and I think he does love what he's doing. He loves being the quarterback of the Cowboys. I think he'll put in the work, but I think that there will be a ceiling or a plateau eventually that he is what he is. Because I don't think he's an accurate passer.
He's not great.
They're also not putting a ton of talent around him from the wide receiver standpoint. They got Cooper last year, but he was really throwing to nobody before that.
You're right.
So
it helped him a tremendous amount.
I mean, Zeke helps a lot, but they also get into this situation where remember you had an argument with Dutchman during one of our episodes where you guys were disagreeing, and he didn't even realize how much they actually have Dak throwing the ball. Yeah. He's throwing the ball 30+ times a game when that's not ideal for that type of quarterback, especially when you got a beast in the back.
Well, I think that's also misleading too. I don't think Dak throws as much as the numbers even say it is. He's got a few games that beefed it up. So I mean, I think you want to keep him in the 18 to 25 attempts per game range if you can. I mean, that's kind of what he is. And he's not the most accurate quarterback. He's got decent legs, and he's big. He's a big dude. He's hard to bring down. And I think he's pretty smart. But he does have moments where he misses open receivers. Like sometimes he'll hit a check down to Zeke, and Zeke will pick up 10, 12 yards and make a nice play. But like you look downfield and you had someone downfield, you got to see it. You got to hit them. It's a touchdown play. You got to make the play. And he does make those mistakes too.
Yeah, he does that. So, he did that a little bit too much. I noticed that several times. I mean, during the season when he had someone down the sideline, when he had his guy beat by 5 yards, and he just overthrows him or throws it out of bounds. Yeah. So that's got to be frustrating from the Cowboy fan standpoint. But like I said, I think he is what he is. Yeah. He'll get a little bit.
What I like about him is
he'll learn. He'll continue to learn how to win games.
He's a winner though. He's always been. Even in college, he was a winner. He had that.
Really, for them to win though. They need the defense to be as good as they are.
But I mean,
they need to run the ball,
and they added to their defense though, which is big. They added to their defense, and their offensive line is going to be dirty.
But it's funny, like I've heard a comparison with people analyzing how you're supposed to construct a team, and I heard that they were talking about it on ESPN. I think it was Louis Riddick that was talking about it, where they were talking about how the Seahawks have constructed their team. Where when the Seahawks went to the Super Bowl and they won those Super Bowls, they had Russell Wilson had a manageable contract, and they were paying most of the money was on the defense. And their defense was carrying them. Russell Wilson was managing the game plus making plays, and they win a Super Bowl from it. But now it's completely transitioned where a lot of those defensive players are gone, and they're paying their quarterback a lot of money. And they basically transitioned it to, all right, now this is your team, and you've been here and you've won already. You've had the crutch of the defense being good and helping you out and keeping the score low from the opposition standpoint. Now you can take the reins.
They're going to invest in their defense and their defense a lot more though too going forward with the draft picks. They already started to, and then they'll have a good team. They always pick good.
It's tough to those defenses, because I'm still a proponent of defense wins championships in pretty much every sport. When you have a defense that good as they were last year, you have to capitalize on those years, because it only happens so often. And then once you have a cornerback that's really good, that you got to pay him eventually.
I don't think
that adds up. Where you lose those years, you got to start paying these guys.
You're right. There's guys are going to get paid, but honestly, guys like Byron Jones, I would consider letting him walk too. I mean, I think he's good, but I don't think he's.
Well, I was just saying a cornerback just as a random example.
I agree.
Yeah.
The Cowboys case, Van Der Esch is going to come up eventually, and Jalen Smith is coming up soon.
Exactly.
And Malik Collins which is why they drafted Tristan Hill. But good teams continue to draft. There's another thing that came out today.
Hey, we're getting asked dumb questions now. What kind of offense can you expect with Kellen Moore?
I think it's gonna be very similar. I think it'll be maybe a little bit more innovative. I was watching this YouTuber.
Wait, is he still Kellen Moore?
He's the offensive coordinator now.
Oh, he's offensive coordinator now. Really?
Yeah, they got rid of Linehan.
I thought he was still playing.
Linehan
I didn't even realize they got him. Well, actually, Jordan, to answer your question, I think just any sort of change for the Cowboys offensively will be good, because their play calling, I would tell you all the time last year, was so questionable at times. They threw the ball way too much. They need to have a similar approach, I think, as that Jets team that went to the AFC Championship game. I think that they can be a little bit more risk averse.
I wish they would.
I think that they can.
I wish they would boot Dak out
like that.
Boot Dak out more and just get him on the run and just give him easy throws and just think and dump people down the field. I wish they would do that more, actually.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy I think that can. Obviously, you don't want your quarterback to take punishment, but he's a guy that can. He's big. He can bounce off you and
thunder thighs
absorb it. Well, you see his he actually that little hop that he does before the game, that used to be that was my shit.
Oh, really? That's cool.
He stole that from there.
Another interesting thing, I saw this earlier today. The comp picks came out for all the teams, and this is what good teams do. They draft good players. They have them get signed by other teams after their first contract is over, and then they get extra draft picks to draft the following year. And the Giants did a good job this year because they lost Landon Collins. They got a third-round pick for that. So that's what we're talking about. You're not getting nothing for Landon Collins. You're getting a third-round pick for him. It's the back end of the third round.
They probably could have gotten more.
Didn't someone say they're offering a first-round pick? Or what?
I think they could have gotten a second-round pick at least. I think that was the rumor that I heard.
I heard something,
which is obviously better than the third-round pick.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're not getting nothing though.
Yeah, but still, regardless, we're not painting a picture where Gettleman did the right thing. They botched it.
There's a few things though. You don't want to. Gettleman has shown, I think, that he's not going to compound mistakes.
He also has shown that he's not going to let up on his accent either, which is just like the most annoying thing in the world. That Boston accent drives me crazy.
How can you listen to a Boston accent as a New York fan? I just don't get it.
It's rough, honestly. I can't take it. And you know what's funny? I actually heard on the radio, I think on my way here, I heard that there was it's about like hockey, and we're going completely off topic, but I just heard, it was like a radio station in Boston or in Massachusetts that they were talking about, I guess, the Bruins and the Hurricanes, and they had supposedly like a reporter that works with the Carolina Hurricanes, and they hung up on the guy and the guy literally said, I can't listen to someone with a Southern accent talk about hockey, and hung up on the guy. And it's not even like a fan calling in. It's a beat writer for like the Hurricanes. How ridiculous is that? Because I mean,
they have a different.
I think the most unattractive thing in the world is like a woman with a Boston accent. The Boston, and even with just any a man or a woman, especially, it's like
I think you just
so
insulted.
We just lost all of our reach to Massachusetts. Is just completely.
I think you just lost us like a half a viewer. Because I don't think any Boston accent women are listening to this podcast. I think we're safe.
I think it's safe to say, yeah. But let's transition a little bit. Let's go into like any other players from the draft that stood out to you that when you were watching the draft or when you went to go watch some like tape on some of the players that have been drafted, whether it's like early, mid, or late round, anyone that you think could make a legitimate impact in NFL, whether it's like short term rookie year or even like in a couple of years, 2-3 years down the road.
I really like Devin White. I like both actually, the linebackers that went early. Devin White, and the guy the Giants could have had was Devin Bush from Michigan. He looks really, really nice too. Devin White just looks so. Have you seen him play?
Yeah, I mean, I saw some tape on him. Like, the SEC just produces defensive players left and right.
The only thing scary about him was I saw this YouTuber scout that did a whole video on him that showed that he used to be a running back, and so sometimes he said the way he explained it is he'll read the play as if he was a running back, so he doesn't make the decision fast enough to get to go make the charge through the blocks and stuff, or to shed a block and stuff. So sometimes he has a little bit of a weird because he's only played linebacker I think for 1 year, or like 1 or 2 years. He was a running back coming into. He was supposed to be the replacement for Fournette and Geis. After them, he was supposed to be the running back.
That's crazy.
But he's just such an athlete. You see him run; he's just ridiculous. The way he hits too, he's really.
Well, they have what's his name? The linebacker that was like that in college too. What's his name? The middle linebacker from the Jaguars.
The Jaguars. Oh, Telvin Smith.
No. Oh my God, his name is like
Florida State,
the one that had he had an injury like going into the draft, and he fell, but he.
He
played running back and
Miles Garrett.
There.
No, not Miles Garrett. Miles Jack.
Miles Jack. There you go.
Miles Garrett.
Yeah, that was like a similar situation. Miles Jack was another freak, but he went to the draft.
He did good though.
He has been good. I mean, he's another one of those freak athletes like that can play both sides of the ball.
That's right. They have both those guys. That's crazy.
Yeah, they got talent, man. I mean, I think they're gonna end up trading Ramsey and getting something good for him.
That's not right. Oh no, but he didn't get. They got Josh Allen, the Jags we're talking about.
Well, he's another athlete too.
Devin White went to Tampa Bay, but they have another good too. Quan Alexander, right? They have a good linebacker too.
Yeah. No, well, I was just making a comparison of that type of like versatile player like that. Yeah.
I really like actually too what the Buffalo Bills did. Ed Oliver is going to be a beast. I thought maybe the Giants should consider him too. I really like him a lot out of Houston. I liked him a lot, and even when they got a good guard in the second round, Cody. So I mean, what do you think about the Raiders? This is probably the most viable.
You're obsessed with the Raiders, man.
No, honestly,
I think they're going to be good.
No, honestly, wasn't crazy about their pick. I mean, that kid's a good. The guy they got early was Colin Farrell. It was a good player, but he wasn't reached. Yeah, it was a huge.
See, that was crazy to me because I mean, obviously they reached for him. That was the consensus among like the guys like Kuiper and McShay. But
he wasn't. I mean, you've
heard me talk about Christian Wilkins already. I thought Christian Wilkins was the no-brainer defensive like lineman from the draft from that Clemson defense.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought he was the no-brainer, and he got taken.
They had 3 in the top 17.
He got taken 13.
3 of their D linemen got taken in the top 17 picks.
And of course, the Giants got the worst one.
He also picked the last one, though. I mean,
if
it makes you feel any better, shouldn't, but
no,
I'm just playing.
But they could have. I think could have had.
I like Dexter Lawrence, though. He's going to be good. I like him.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on him. He's going to be good.
But I want to mention the guy that I was like raving you about in the draft. That I didn't really watch that much of him, but Kyler Murray's teammate in college, Hollywood Brown, and he went to the Ravens, which is one of the worst spots I think he could have gone to from like like a production standpoint and like even in fantasy, because we're always comparing everything to fantasy.
Yeah.
But this kid Hollywood Brown has unreal deep threat speed. I haven't seen speed like that in a while. And I know
Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, he's legit Deshaun Jackson fast in his prime, and could maybe even like be a little bit Deshaun Light, or even be just as
Deshaun
equal or
2.0?
even better. He's in that range. I'm not gonna make that evaluation yet because you got to see him in the NFL first. But this kid looks unreal. Like he has unreal speed.
The Eagles got Deshaun Jackson back. Isn't that bullshit? That's complete bullshit. Sorry.
Okay.
That's crazy though. It's like not even fair. Like these moves they make. The Eagles are good. I hate it. Ugh.
Well, I mean, they're going. They obviously won the Super Bowl recently. They're going in a different direction than the Giants and the Redskins. Well, and I mean, the Cowboys. You guys have a pretty good team right now, but the Eagles will. They're still going to be good because I think Wentz. I know he had a down year. He's coming off injuries and stuff.
Always hurt. Yeah.
He's got a lot of talent. I think that kid will be fine.
No,
and he's got weapons around him. They'll be fine. I mean, we were also talking about what's his name, the running back that they drafted from Penn State. Watching a little bit of tape before. That kid could play. That's an underrated, sneaky good pick that he's going to be a contributor.
And they also got Jordan Howard. They traded from the.
Yeah, you got Jordan Howard. I'm not.
I mean, but it's still an upgrade. It's a huge upgrade over what they had.
Well, they had like Wendell Smallwood.
Well, they had what's his name? The Jay Jai. It's good.
Yeah, but I mean,
Wendell Smallwood. They had.
It was like hit or miss. I feel like
Clement is decent.
Corey Clement. Yeah, but these are guys that are like what 5th round pick type guys that
substitute teachers.
Substitute teachers, you could say. Yeah, you can. I mean, you can get away with the guys.
There's a new person here. Quan Alexander now plays for the 49ers. Okay, so Quan Alexander's gone. He's saying for the 49ers.
Oh,
he went to the 49ers. So okay, so Devin Bush. Was it Devin Bush? No, they went.
No, Devin Bush was the Steelers
White
guy.
Is there to replace him? Okay, who's that?
Hiking Deep. I'm not sure who that is. Welcome though.
Is that a random?
Welcome to the podcast.
But you're the only non-family member in this watching this. So
yeah,
congratulations.
We got another question from Jordan here. Who will be the number 1 overall fantasy pick this year? This is a little bit off topic from the draft. Let's talk about fantasy draft. You think Saquon?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's a
Gurley's scary as hell. He's gonna fall.
Yeah, I think his stock definitely fell.
Zeke is right there.
Zeke will be right there, but yeah, I would say it's probably between them two. At least for me, if I had the first pick, I had Saquon last year, so I would easily take him again. I think he's just going to be another workhorse. I think he'll get better with his.
And being that they're not that good, they're not that good, he's going to catch 1 million passes. That's why I liked him last year. He had that one game with 14 catches. It was so nice.
14 catches for like what, 75 yards?
I don't know. I remember exactly the stats were, but it was
like 80-something yards.
It was a lot of points.
That game.
He's dirty though. He really is. Still should have taken Sam Darnold, but.
So Hiking Deep said he's
Outdoor Channel. I saw that.
And a Raiders fan.
And a Raiders fan. Cool.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So Hollywood Brown was my guy to keep an eye on. I don't think he's gonna make he's not gonna make a lot of noise in his first couple years. I don't think just because of the limitations as a quarterback. I think Lamar Jackson has talent of like moving the sticks and running the ball, but he can't throw for.
That's what I've been saying. What I was saying about Tim Tebow all those years is like if someone just really invested and built a team specifically to what he does, and it looks like the Ravens are going to actually do that with.
It's interesting though, but Lamar Jackson is not built like Tebow.
You're right.
Like,
he's not.
He knows,
but he can throw better.
He knows how to take.
He can throw.
Yeah,
a little bit.
He's got at
least a little bit.
He's got a better, like more zip on his throw, but I wouldn't say that.
I think he's a better prospect than Tebow, but still, you don't want to shit on this guy. I'm like Jesus. Tebow's not.
We got more people in the chat now. The Gaming Beaver, what's up? How's it going?
Saying hi.
I want to know who Hiking Deep is. You're saying the Browns are going to win the North? No, you know who won the North?
With that,
Winterfell won the North. All right.
No, well, actually, it was 2 Targaryens actually won the North. If you really think about it.
All right.
Actually, not true. Arya goat. Arya's the goat. No spoilers. Gotta get to put a spoiler thing on this.
Yeah. That's enough of that Game of Thrones talk.
All right.
Let's move on to some, I guess you could say, social media stuff that's been going on within the NFL. So
one thing I saw was pretty interesting the other day, and I was like reading the comments on this tweet, and Le'Veon Bell is a rapper. I don't know how many of you know that he's a rapper as well. He put his own rap song over a workout video, and one of the lyrics in his song is, and he quoted this on the tweet. He said, "It's almost time to show everybody that I didn't make a mistake." So are you buying or selling the idea that Le'Veon Bell did not make a mistake selling out?
Well,
holding out last year. What do you think?
I mean, I think that's in the back of his mind. He obviously lost a lot of money.
He lost at least $14 million.
And he left the team that's in the playoffs every year except last year. And he's going to
the Jets will be better than
a rebuilding team.
And the Jets will be better than the Steelers this year, I think.
I wouldn't go that far. You're so big in that. Well, I mean, if anyone that's listening doesn't know, we both have a bet over under 8 wins for the Jets. I took the under. So we'll see what happens there. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're going to be better than the Steelers next year or this upcoming season. But I think that there's got to be some sort of regret because it does make him, even though he's doing the right thing from his personal career standpoint. I mean, any of us would do the same thing. You work to get paid to make a living. I know that these guys are making a lot of money, but when it's that significant of a difference in money that you could have or not have,
he didn't get anything.
If you get injured,
yeah,
but it's the injury risk. That's what it's all for.
The only thing he did save is if he would have gotten injured, he saved himself a lot of money.
Well,
he would have lost some money, but
yeah, he's taken the low risk way.
Couldn't he have just bought an insurance policy on his knees or his body? Couldn't he just have done that?
I'm not a lawyer, so I'm assuming maybe they.
I know the college kids. The college kids all do that.
Well, they should. Well, the college kids should get paid, but that's a conversation for another day.
You're right. They should get paid.
But yeah, I think he'll be fine there. I thought it was interesting though that he just completely skipped the voluntary workouts, like the first voluntary workouts that the Jets had. He was just like a no-show, which was kind of interesting, especially being on a new team.
We got a Raiders fan in here. We should talk only Raiders now. You know how much I love the Raiders.
All right, so
even though I wasn't crazy about the Raiders draft, I'm sorry. I mean, Farrell's good, but that was early for him. And I mean, the running back there, Josh, he's going to be a legit fantasy option though. Jacobs.
I mean, usually the running backs that are taken early in the draft, they usually. I mean, you invest. I've seen a little bit of him. He's pretty good. I like the Penn State kid a little bit better, to be honest with you. Yeah, I think that kid's underrated, but. I think whenever you're investing in a running back that early in a draft, you got to see what he's got right away. Like he's honestly,
there's so many good running backs you could find later. I feel like it's kind of just stupid to spend, especially like a back end of the first round. Someone like him, I'm not saying he's not good. I'm not saying he's not going to do well, but I just don't think it's the smartest thing to invest in with the 27th pick. But that's actually the Cowboys. Oh, that wasn't the 27th. It was the 24th pick. That was 27th pick. It was actually the Cowboys pick. They actually traded for Amari Cooper. What do you think? You think it's a good move or a bad move overall for the Cowboys? Amari Cooper or one of these guys after 27? Abrams is a decent safety. Tillery, I don't know a ton about.
At the time, I thought it was a mistake. I thought it was just a panic move by Jerry Jones. Yeah, impulsive.
I really like. I didn't think he was. I've always liked Amari Cooper though.
I think he's a good player, and he's probably worthy of. I would say right now. A mid to late round first round pick. I would say his talent, and he got taken 10th overall, but at the time his stock was so much lower than that. He was not playing well. He was dropping a lot of passes. He's not putting up numbers. He was getting injured. So it was. I thought for that particular situation they gave up too much, and I would have taken it if I were the Raiders. I would have taken a first round pick in a heartbeat. We'll see what Jonathan Abrams.
I mean, for them, that obviously made sense because he's going to be. This is his last year under contract coming up. So I mean, you're going to take that first round pick where you're going to have a guy under contract for 5 years. You know, they're going to have who they pick. They picked Abrams. They're going to have a starting safety for 5 years now.
Yeah.
In replace of so they were rebuilding. The Cowboys are more going for it now. So that's why they did it. I really like him though. He's big. He's got pretty good hands. He runs good routes. He does have some drops here and there, but he's got good hands for the most part. I think he's a good player.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and they're going to have to pay Cooper, and they're going to pay him. I mean, if he keeps playing, if he played this upcoming season the way he played last year when he first went to the Cowboys,
I think Cooper got like $14 million a year.
I think you got to. I'm not sure where you're going to pay him in the hierarchy of like the rest of the wide receivers in the NFL because he's not one of the elite guys, but he's still got to get paid at some point. He's producing, and he's really important to that team because they have no other options.
That doesn't even really matter.
They got Jason Witten coming back.
It doesn't even really matter though, honestly. Like they don't structure the contracts as like, oh, well, you're, top 5 or you're not. So I'm not saying that's not going into the negotiations, but like it doesn't matter at the end of the day. If you're up and you're the best, you're the only number 1 receiver up available for a contract, you're going to be one of the highest paid. You're going to be in the top 5 at least in annual salary at least. Maybe not guaranteed money and all that. Yeah. The really great ones get the most guaranteed, but so he's going to get paid. Like Cowboys got a lot of guys to pay.
I just want to point out, Gaming Beaver's asking him, like he's saying, "Let's make a bet." Well, I'm not sure what this bet is. You'd have to tell us what the bet is.
He's been commenting a couple of times, so maybe he's like,
I love my Raiders.
Cowboys and then the
War
Patriots.
Room
They
is a broom closet.
What about?
Yeah, it's I thought that the Raiders.
I mean, what am I gonna? I'm gonna bet against one of the best teams in the league, the Super Bowl champs. Like, you want to bet $20 that the Patriots will make the Super Bowl
54 and win.
and 54 and win? Okay, I bet you $20. Fine, look me up if they win. I mean,
shake on it.
You're gonna give me the field. I'll take it. Okay, I
would take it too.
I'll take the field over them. That's a good bet.
Well, but I mean, Patriots did draft like they fall under the radar for some reason every time. They take like the guys that aren't hot
and they don't
draft
and
they always turn into something.
I actually never heard of N'Keal Harry. I didn't see much about him. I'm sure he's gonna be a beast. They pick up even though the last couple of receivers they've taken haven't panned out. Malcolm.
I don't know.
Who's the receiver that just retired? Didn't they just have a big receiver retire? Number 19. Was it Malcolm something or another? He just retired, I think. Number 19. Tall, lanky dude. Does anyone know in there?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. I'm thinking of, or speaking of the tall receiver.
Bet a chest wax. I don't have any chest hair. What am I going to wax? I got 3 hairs. I'm going to have to do a chest pluck.
You only have 3 hairs?
Maybe 6.
Can we see them? Nah, that's fine. No, let's talk about. You bring up the words tall receiver. Let's talk before we move on completely from this. Let's talk about DK a little bit. I don't know if anyone has seen these pictures of DK Metcalf. I mean, the guy he reminds me of David Boston from back in the day. He just looks like he lifts more than he runs routes and catches balls.
And he runs routes. He runs routes like
he runs routes
like
he lifts more. Yeah, he runs routes. So I mean, we were just watching highlights on him before. I don't see him being that good. I mean,
I think he went to the perfect place. Russell Wilson will hit him deep.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll be another one of those type of guys that
Lockett
they've
type,
had in the
a big
past.
Lockett, a big guy,
he's
a
like
bigger
a
Lockett.
Big Paul Richardson. Like he's not like he probably has I would say he has a decent catch radius for because
Paul
he's
Richardson's
so big.
got a lot more like mobility and
he's a straight line runner though. He's one of those guys. But I don't see DK Metcalf doing that much. I could be wrong, but just like the eye test. He doesn't, like you said, he's got no shiftiness, no lateral quickness. He's just a straight line runner, and he's big.
5'9", 185-pound Andy Isabella won a few picks before him.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Because Andy Isabella can run routes. DK Metcalf can't run routes.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a big deal. You can't just like throw the ball up nowadays, especially with the lack of talent beyond the top 7 or so quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, he's with Russell
that can
Wilson.
Make those throws. He is with Russell Wilson.
He's going to have a couple this year where he's going to be deep downfield. He's going to have a few yards of separation. Russell Wilson's going to extend the play. He's just going to throw it further than anyone else can run. And he's going to outrun everybody. He's going to make a 60-yard touchdown catch. He'll have a few of those, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's going to make a huge impact. He's definitely not going to be a volume catch kind of guy. He'll be like a 2-catch, 60 yards occasionally. In other games, like no catches.
Yeah, he'll be like when he has a big game, it'll be like 2 catches for 102 yards
and a touchdown. Yeah, exactly.
But let's transition. We're already live for almost 48 minutes.
You want to just finish these 2 and then we'll close it up.
All right. Yeah. Well, we wanted to do the over unders too.
Okay.
But yeah, let's finish.
The other quote that I pulled up of Twitter is the GQ magazine interview with Odell Beckham, where he said that he's going to make the Browns the new Patriots.
Yeah, that's just an unreal. I mean, I think that.
You hate Odell. You just hate Odell.
I don't hate him. He's just like a little delusional. Like, I understand that's I think he knows that everyone knows that it's like, what the hell is he talking about with the Browns? But
no, I think he really believes it. I don't think that. I think he really believes that he's going to do that. He's just that self-assured and that confident that he can do it. And they have a good squad. They have a really good squad.
I'm not saying they don't have a good squad. I think they're going to be good next year. I think they'll have a winning record.
Their offense is going to be really
to say that they're going to just pass like the Patriots.
Happy birthday, Gaming Beaver. Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Gaming Beaver. I still don't know who that is yet. But yeah, that Odell thing, it's kind of like a non-story. It's him trying to just I think it's him with so much pent-up emotion from getting traded away and him thinking that he was a crown jewel of the Giants.
He's just a big talker anyway.
He's kind of a baby. I mean, he's still like immature.
Not a lot of receivers aren't.
But yeah, that's. I think that's it for the.
We kind of talked about
social
Dak.
media today.
We
touched on the Dak, the $30 million.
So you want to do the over unders?
We'll see how that.
Let's do 3 teams. Let's do the Cowboys, the Jets, and the Giants. Over unders.
Okay.
Cowboys number is 8.5. Over and under 8.5 wins.
Over under 8.5 wins. I would take the over.
I'll take it over too. Actually, the FanDuel had 8.5, but DraftKings had 9. Would you go over still with 9?
Would I get a push at 9 wins?
Yes.
Yeah, I would probably take that.
I'll go over too.
I think they get at least 9.
I think they get 9 or 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Jets over under 7? You know where I'm going to go.
I mean that. Bring up the schedule.
They have a
because
really.
I need to really look at it. I know we have the bet already, and the bet is at 8. So like, if I'm saying the over, that means I'm saying I'm gonna lose, most likely lose my bet. I feel like when I had looked at it initially, their schedule was kind of weak.
It's tough initially. They start with Bills, which is Bills are gonna be tough for them, especially. They're gonna be tough because it's a division game. Browns are tough. The Bills. Patriots are tough. I know, but I'm still they're gonna be. Bills are going to be improved. I'm not crazy about their quarterback, but their Bills are going to be improved. Browns are tough. Eagles are tough. Pats are tough. Cowboys are tough. Pats again are tough. But then they have Jags, Dolphins, Giants, Redskins, Raiders, Bengals, Dolphins. I mean, those are real winnable games all in a row.
They're winnable games, but we know what the division rivalries are with the Dolphins. They're going
to win. They're going to beat the Dolphins twice.
The Dolphins are probably going to be better.
They're going to beat the Dolphins twice.
I don't think you can say it in any given year that it's a given that they're.
All right, I'm going to say it's a given that the Jets get at least 4 division wins.
At least 4 division wins.
So they're going to either sweep the Bills.
No, I'm talking about just sweeping one of the.
Sweep the Bills and they're going to either sweep the Bills and the Dolphins, or they're going to split with the Bills and the Patriots and sweep the Dolphins. That's what I feel like. They're going to get at least 4
That's
division.
Pretty bold. I think you got your brother-in-law talking a little bit too much in your ear on the Jets, talking them up.
I make my own decisions.
Look at, I mean, you get past that. That is actually a really tough beginning of the season schedule.
It is. Start off.
I mean, they've like
they almost got to beat the Bills. They almost have to beat the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, because
they'll probably lose to the Browns. They'll probably lose to the Patriots. They'll probably lose to the Eagles.
Yeah.
They'll probably lose to the Cowboys. They'll probably lose to the Patriots again. That's 5 in a row. They could be 1-5 or 0-6.
The Jaguars, though, you don't know what you're getting. I think that they're going to bounce back from last year. I think that they have too much talent on defense.
But the Jets are going to be good, bro. The Jets can beat them.
And also, we're going to get to the Giants
3,
over
4, 5. These are winnable. 6. Even the Ravens is winnable.
They're winnable, but Giants is another one. We're going to talk about their over/under. They're projected to not be good this year, but it's going to be a close game when they play. I mean, it pretty much always is.
Let's see the Giants schedule.
And I think, I don't see that being an automatic win.
So you're going to say under 7?
You looked up the San Francisco Giants. You got to look at the New York Giants.
Oh, that'd be helpful.
Yeah.
Why would that even come up? What? Isn't this America?
It's baseball season right now.
I don't care. This is America. The New York Giants should come up, not the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just on probability. Just on probability.
So you're saying your fantasy baseball team's a fluke?
Why? Who do I have for the Giants?
No, I'm just saying you don't even know what's going on right now. That baseball season's going on.
No, I know.
All right, let's move on though. All right. So let's just before we move on to the Giants.
Hold on. Did you say? I said over. You're gonna 7 wins.
Man, this is tough. I'm gonna give a push. I think they're gonna go 7-9.
Oh my God, that's such a cop out.
No, why? Why is that a cop out?
It's a cop out push.
It's not a cop out.
I mean, actually, it's actually a tougher prediction because it's gonna come exactly true. Okay,
I don't see them really being that good yet. I mean, I think the Le'Veon Bell move was a really good move. I know that
they didn't
paying a running back
but they didn't pay that much relative to what I thought they were going to end up paying him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. But I think he's going to, for the development of Darnold, I thought that it was such a smart move by them. But they don't have the greatest offensive line. They still have work to do. They don't have, wide receivers.
This guy likes their tight end.
Chris Herndon? Yeah, no, Chris Herndon, I think he's got some talent.
He's definitely an option in fantasy.
He's an option in fantasy. But he's not, an all-pro, top 5 or so. He doesn't have an impact.
He's really young. Really young.
Travis Kelce. No, but you see it. You see a guy like Travis Kelce or a guy like Gronk in his prime. I know that those guys only come around every so often.
The flash,
not even just a flashiness. You just see it's a different level player. Yeah. And I don't necessarily see that with Herndon. I think he's good. He'll be a good player, especially having an impact in a rookie year with a rookie quarterback.
He was a 4th round pick.
He'll be good.
What was he?
He was around that. He was like a 3rd or 4th round pick, I think.
That's a pretty good pick.
All right, Beaver. I'll see you later. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the like button for us and subscribe.
And ring the bell because I hear people say that. I don't know what
yeah, there's a bell that you can click to subscribe.
I know.
That gives you notifications. All right, so
I hate it for a couple people just because.
Let's go. Last one. Over under for the Giants 5.5. I can't believe it's actually that low. I'm going over. No brainer, I think, for me. I can't imagine.
I think it's going to be just over. I think they're going to get 6, maybe 7 wins. I kind
of want to log on and put money on my DraftKings account and just bet that right now
Yeah.
because I can't imagine that that's going to stay like that as we get closer to the season.
Maybe if they would have taken a different player at 6, it would be even higher.
Yeah, well, I mean, the media overreacts so much to those things,
No,
and not saying that there shouldn't have been an overreaction, but the way
nobody knows yet.
Yeah, the way that it sways the consensus of like
Daniel
everybody.
Daniel Jeremiah used to be a scout, and he made this list of which teams got the most of his top 100 players, and the Giants had 5 of his top 100 players in the draft. I mean, they still took 5 of the top 100 players in this draft. That's a good chance a lot of them are going to pan out. I mean,
I don't know if I'd say a good chance. I mean, a lot of guys don't pan out.
Gettleman's been pretty good. Gettleman's been pretty good at drafting.
Pretty good for what? The Cowboys?
I mean, fuck it.
There you go. You slipped again. Yeah, well, I can't imagine. We got Hiking Deep in the chat here saying 6 wins. I mean, if they had 6 wins, it wouldn't surprise me. But to have less than 6 wins, I would be surprised. They have to be pretty horrendous to have that record. Now, I don't think
what we're saying is their depth.
Bring out their schedule real quick. I don't. Oh, okay. Yeah. So they got the Bills in week 2. They got the Bucks in week 3.
Why'd you skip week 1?
The Redskins.
You couldn't get the win week 1.
Well, I'm talking about games that they should win.
Okay.
But I don't think that they're that bad to the point where it's like, oh, we can't beat Detroit
1,
in
2,
week 8. We can't beat
3,
Arizona in week
4.
7.
You can. I mean, arguable.
The Bears didn't have Trubisky.
5,
they beat the Bears last year.
6. They could split at least. They could even win these 2. They could beat the Redskins technically twice.
They could beat the Eagles in a game. They could beat the Cowboys in a game. I mean, those division games are always.
The Giants have no depth, though. They really don't. If
they
have
don't.
Any kind of injuries, they could definitely fall below 5.5.
No, I agree, but I think that there are winnable games on the schedule. I don't think that even the Packers, people were picking. I think it was Stephen A. Smith before the season. He was picking them to win the Super Bowl. Look how bad they were.
He knows nothing about football. He knows literally nothing. I saw him talking about the draft, and he was saying he likes Haskins because he's got mobility. Haskins is like a statue. He can't run at all.
Yeah.
He was literally racist. Stephen A. was being racist.
All right, let's not get into that conversation.
That's what he was doing,
it's
though.
Biased. You say biased.
No, he's being racist.
No, I mean, none of those quarterbacks really impressed me. But I said Kyler Murray's like.
So this was the
he
year to
seems
get
almost
one.
like a poor man's like Mayfield.
So clearly, then this is the year to pick your quarterback. Then not the year before when Darnold was there and all those good quarterbacks were available.
Hey, I mean,
smart to take a running back to go for it.
Hindsight's 20/20 always.
Not for me. I told you. That same day, I told you.
You also said that the Giants' offensive line was like good.
Look, just because I say they're not, you do like the political thing to me, like where it's like any kind of a commitment on a position, you're gonna bring me to the absolute most extreme of that position.
I just enjoy triggering you. I like seeing your reactions because you get upset about it.
That's what you do. Your
name
is Yogi Troll.
I think we're gonna wrap it up now. We're almost at an hour. But before we go, I just want to say thanks again for tuning in. I guess we got some new viewers because I'm not sure who some of these guys are in the chat, but I appreciate the engagement on the chat. I would also appreciate if you click the like button and you clicked on the subscribe button.
And go on our Patreon. And, no, we don't have Patreon.
None of that. Yeah, we're at 2nd and 9 on Twitter. Check below the video for the information. And yeah, we'll be back with you guys soon. We'll definitely do an episode on all of the fantasy prospects, what we think is going to happen, which is going to be tough for us because we're going to be. I'm not giving anything. Yeah, I know he's going to be completely biased in his actually analysis.
Not even. I literally put down on this sheet for you that Atlanta Falcons improved their offensive line. They drafted 2 first-round offensive linemen. That's going to help their running back.
Yeah. No.
Help Matt Ryan. There's some fantasy.
Yeah. Well, you were talking of Ito Smith before, but
I don't know. That's what's scary. That's what makes it scary.
Let's wrap it up now. Again, guys. Thanks again for watching. Click that like button, and we'll talk to you soon.
Later.
Peace. Oh.